For those who wasn't in the brief upstairs earlier, I'm Adam Casey. I'm a CISO. I'm also the director of cyber delivery at a company called TMC3, which is owned by a larger business called Kadir. We provide end-to-end digital transformation services. So I'm responsible for the cyber delivery, and as part of that, we do professional services, we resell technology, we provide resources as well. But 95% of our revenue is public sector, not by choice, just kind of where we fell and grew, but we know it inside out. And when I say public sector, we work across defence, central government, critical national infrastructure, policing, healthcare, education, we're right across. Okay. So I thought, how can governments harness AI while ensuring data security and regulation? I mean, we're at a cyber conference, so it's got to have that security and privacy aspect on it. But a bit of an open discussion. So just to bring up the slides, has anyone not come across Deepseek yet? Has anyone got shares in NVIDIA? Sorry about that. So the reason Deepseek is really important, I mean, just to give a bit of context, a few years ago, they were in a bit of a trade war with America, and they were embargoed from being able to use some of the intellectual property and some of the chips which you need to run AI models by American organizations. So America's very much the leader in AI, or has been. So what China did for $6 million instead of the hundreds of billion dollars it took for OpenAI, ChatGPT, etc., they managed to come up with a model for $6 million, which runs on chips which are nowhere near the power of data centers, GPUs, the NVIDIA type chips. So it absolutely broke the market because America's not got the monopoly. Their architecture isn't the only way to do it. But more importantly, the technology used to run AI effectively doesn't require the chips that NVIDIA in particular are going. So it completely disrupted the market, and we saw that in January, and it was affected into UK as well. But it's changed the architecture, it's changed the way we do things, but the cost of running it. So one of the benefits of Deepseek is you don't have to run it in a data center, you can run it locally. You can run it potentially on a laptop. It's open source as well, so all the code has been released to the market, so anyone can start to use it. But this release in January will be something we remember for a long time, okay, as a disruptor. So what are the problems? Why are we concerned about it? Well, America's definitely concerned because they had the monopoly. But fundamentally, it's backed by Chinese state. So from an espionage, foreign threat level, obviously China's always been highly up there. But obviously they've got data sovereignty over anything that processes through their systems. They automatically have access to that. But they are a threat to Western operations. We've got data residency issues. So if you use Deepseek, you downloaded the app on your mobile, hopefully you haven't. But what it means is the data at the moment goes into China. If you put personal data in there, you've got GDPR issues around data transfer to a high-risk country. AI is also regarded as a high-risk technology, so you've got to have special controls and permissions if you are using it, but also definitely transferring that overseas to China. And then in the government, public sector, we've got classified material. Hopefully, you're not putting anything that's OS or above, or official or above through it, because again, you're not keeping that data in the UK or wider EEA. But yeah, state interference. I mean, this was a big two fingers in the air to Trump. It was Trump who was actually involved many years ago in the restrictions to China. So the wait until he was in the White House, week one, boom, that's when it was released. So it was a big two fingers in the air but funnily enough, Deepseek over the last 2 weeks have been getting absolutely hit with cyber attacks to the point where you can't even sign in now. So state interference, definitely a big thing. Data quality as well. So the way Deepseek works is it actually learns at the moment from other LLMs or large language models. It's prone to something called hallucinations at the moment. So the data quality is not brilliant. It's definitely getting better. They're on version 3 already. They released an update in December. The one we're on now is January. It's getting better really quickly. However, one of the benefits of Deepseek is because you can run it without GPUs or a massive data center behind you. In reality, you can run it on your own laptop, and with that, you can absolutely control the data. Okay. So at the moment, if you use ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, which is the Google one, wherever the model is stored, that's where your data goes. Okay, so if you put any material through it, you've lost control. Whereas one of the benefits of Deepseek is you can run it locally. You can even disconnect the machine from the internet, but your laptop should have enough power to run it locally. So it actually gives a bit of a benefit. So what we've seen already, so Italy straight away banned it. Italy actually banned ChatGPT when that came out. They were one of the first. Straight after Italy, I think the financial services sector cut it off. But Italy have already banned it. I think Taiwan, there's a couple of others. UK haven't banned it yet. We're definitely starting to do more with China and trade. But organizations, we've already spoken to a few of our customers today. They've already banned it. The problem you've got there is, that's fine if your IT estate is managed and controlled. We find in a lot of government organizations, they've got unmanaged, uncontrolled devices. So the risk there is it's probably going to be turned off. If you are using government systems or managed devices, don't try and download it or access it. You're probably going to get in trouble. But on your own personal device, if you download the application, the data is being processed in China. So just be very careful of what you are putting on there. Yeah, what we typically find, so when ChatGPT did come out and everyone, it was accessible to the general public, everything you put in there is no longer your data. Okay, so if you're putting sensitive material through, there was a major incident with Samsung. They were about to release a new flagship product. One of the data engineers put the source code through to identify efficiencies in the code. Obviously, the intellectual property in the source code was then out of their control. It was a big data breach. So yeah, just be careful what you're putting through, especially if you're managing teams. The advice is don't be using it. Where we anticipate this is going to be a real problem is through the supply chain. So we see applications, especially cloud-based applications and services. They introduce AI even if you don't even need it. So an example is, we use Mural, which is an innovation toolkit. You can do the digital post-it notes and come up with nice ideas. They enabled AI in that. I don't know why, but all of a sudden you've got a service and you're going to get AI by stealth. Where the supply chain will really look to use Deepseek is because it is cheap, it's cost effective. The token cost is reduced. Naturally, your small to medium-sized businesses are going to try and sell the services to increase margins. They're going to use innovative tools and technologies like Deepseek. So you really do need to look at your supply chain to see how big the impact is. So mitigations against them is make sure you're doing stricter due diligence. If you are in charge of IT, managed device is probably good to block it for now. Another benefit of Deepseek is they've completely released the source code open, so it's open source. That means from a licensing perspective, it's easy for people to use it instead of paying the larger OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, etc. So it's cheaper, but what we don't know yet is whether there's backdoors in the code. Okay, so that's one thing that will get tested, and the benefit of open source that will get reviewed. But one risk I foresee with Deepseek is, because it's been released fully open source, there's most AI at the moment is done with strict regulation, strict control. It prevents you from inventing a new chemical weapon, as an example. Where the code has been released, change a bit of the code, all of a sudden you've got something which could be used maliciously. So we just need to watch out for that over the coming period. Regulatory lag, I mean, it's UK not very fast at keeping up with changing technology and laws. GDPR is getting updated specifically to include more controls on AI, we're going to see. But you can see the technology evolution of technology like AI is coming out faster than they can keep up. But it will come. The new data protection bill that they're trying to put through House of Parliament, it does include stricter controls around high-risk tech like AI. And then secure by design, we covered that in a brief earlier, but it's looking at the full end-to-end assurance of bringing in new tech on an ongoing basis, so continuous review. Rather than reviewing something now, 6 months later, they've all of a sudden introduced a new AI feature. Secure by design means you're continuously reviewing, so you will find these issues. Okay.